We've just watched a video of penguin nest building. There are a lot of interesting questions we can ask about this behavior. Why do penguins use rocks to build their nests? Why don't penguins build nests together? Why do they all seem to build nests in the same area? But right now, we'll be focusing on why aren't all penguins criminals. In the video, we saw some penguins make an effort to forage for rocks to build their nests, but some penguins simply steal rocks from their neighbors. It seems like stealing rocks is a lot easier than collecting them. So why wouldn't all penguins steal? You might think it's obvious. If all penguins were criminals, there would be no one to collect rocks in the first place, and there would be nothing to steal. You'd be right. But we'd still not know what drives this behavior. We don't really want to assume that penguins have human characteristics, like a sense of right and wrong. But we might find an explanation in terms of reward, from stealing and collecting. We're going to build a model to help us understand this idea. We think there must be some sort of cost or risk to stealing, otherwise all penguins would be doing it. We also want to see if we can use our model to predict how many penguins in a population will become thieves. Okay, so now we have a question. Next we need to decide how best to model it. Actually, we can think of penguin nest building behavior as a game. We have a set of players, the penguins, and each penguin needs to get as many rocks as possible to build a good nest in order to attract a penguin partner. Our players have two possible moves. They can steal rocks or forage for rocks to win the game. Next, we need to come up with a set of rules to let us mimic penguin behavior. Real penguin behavior is a little bit too complex and difficult to think about. So to get a useful model, we'll have to make some simplifications. First, we'll pretend that all penguins will get paired up randomly against each other. In our game, this represents one turn. Second, in our game, at each turn, all penguins make the decision to steal or forage at the same time. Neither of these ideas is particularly realistic, but they will help us build a simple game that still captures the most important concepts of penguin behavior. So each penguin has been paired up with another penguin, and they have both chosen whether to steal or forage at the same time. Based on what we've seen in the video, we can make some assumptions about what happens next. On each turn, a penguin has enough time to forage for and hence gain one rock. If an honest penguin meets a criminal penguin, the honest penguin again goes off to collect one rock. The criminal penguin, however, has time to steal 2 rocks from the honest penguin's nest. So the criminal penguin gains 2 rocks, and the honest penguin only gains 1, but loses 2, so ends up with 1 less rock. We don't actually know that stealing is twice as efficient as collecting. It's a guess. But once we've built our model, we could come back and change this to see how that would affect our predictions about penguin behavior. Finally, if 2 criminal penguins meet, we're going to assume that they try to steal from each other, but get caught. They'll get into a fight and end up destroying parts of their nests. So both lose 2 rocks. Again, we don't know this, but we can come back and change it later. We now have a complete set of rules. Using these rules, we now know what happens at each turn. We now have a model. It looks reasonable, doesn't it? To get a feel for our model, it's always good to test it out. So let's play a couple of rounds. We're all going to be penguins, and we all have 20 rocks to start with, so put your marker on 20 on your score sheet. Now close your eyes and pick a colored token. Find your partner who's picked the same color. Next, roll your dice. If it lands on blue, you forage for rocks. If it lands on red, however, you steal. Tell your partner your strategy and see what they've got. On your score sheet, fill in both strategies. Use F for forage and S for steal. Using the table we had earlier, figure out your score for this turn. Move your marker forward or backward, depending on your score. For example, I landed on blue, which means I forage. My partner landed on red, which means they get to steal. So my score is -1, and I lose 1 rock. Now put the colored tokens back and start the next turn. You've got 10 turns to get the best penguin nest. Good luck!